So it's June. I'm just stuck on the fact that it's June. We're halfway through the year. It is June 2021. And I think about how quickly we've gotten here from January of this year. But then I also think about how quickly this whole year, this past 365 days has flown by. And I think back on June of 2020, and it feels like that was just like a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago. It doesn't feel like it was a whole entire year ago. And when I think back on June of 2020, and I think back on last year, 2020 as a whole, I look at the things that I started last year. I look at the things that I said I was going to do last year. I look at the things that I started working on last year, and I'm so happy I started those things last year. I'm so happy that I really got to work on some things last year. And I want to ask you, looking back on the year 2020, looking back on June of 2020, what can you say? I'm so glad I did that last year. I'm so glad that I started working on that last year. Can you say that about anything? I know a lot of us can, and I know maybe some of us cannot. And really, I just want to encourage you guys today. This is like an encouragement video because I see how quickly this past 6 months has gone by. I see how quickly the past year, the past 365 days has gone by. And I just want to remind us all that a year can go by very, very quickly, very, very swiftly. And I want you to look at the things that you're thinking about today, the things that you want to do today, the things that you maybe even wish you had already started. And I want to encourage you to go ahead and do those things. Don't look back a year from now, June 2022, and think, man, I wish I had started that last year. I wish I had started that a year ago. I wish I had started that in 2021 or in June of 2021. I wish I had started then. Don't let that be what you say a year from now. A year from now, be able to say, I'm so glad I started that last year. I'm so glad I started the research. I'm so glad I started learning. I'm so glad I started writing. I'm so glad I started whatever it is that you want to have accomplished this time next year. Be able to look back on it this time next year and say, I'm so glad I started it then. So think about what those things are. Maybe you started some things last year. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you thought about it. Maybe you got scared of it. Maybe you thought, oh, what's the point? We're in the middle of a pandemic. Nobody is going to care. It's not going to matter. Maybe that was how you were feeling. But we're now in June of 2021. And if you can look back a year ago and think, man, I wish I had started it then that means you need to start now. Don't let another year go by without you doing the thing that you know you want to do. And I know there's something on your mind. Whoever's watching this right now, there is something in your mind that you can think of right now that you're like, man, a year from now, I want to be able to say, I'm glad I started it then. You know what that thing is. So start, jump, leap, fly, make the call, make the connection, take the class, start writing, whatever it is, start doing it now. Start doing it now so that a year from now you can say, I'm so glad I started it then. That's really all I wanted to share today because I just recognize how quickly a year can fly by. And a lot of times when we're in the planning stages of things and we think, okay, a year from now, sometimes a year can feel like a long time if you're thinking of doing something that's going to be arduous or if it's something that you want right now. Sometimes you feel like a year can be a long time, but I think we've all seen how quickly a year can fly by. It can go by just like that. And if you're not paying attention, it could pass you by without you actually accomplishing the things that you want to accomplish and doing the things that you want to do. So the year is going to go whether you do it or not. The time is going to pass whether you do it or not. So make sure that the time passes and you've done whatever it is. Make sure the year goes or the years go and you've done whatever it is. Even if you don't have everything in your hands right now to make it happen, start with what you have. Start with where you are. Just start. And in a year from now, you'll be able to look back and you'll be able to say, I'm so glad I started then. And send me a message when you do that. that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. As always, the euphoria of fearlessness trumps the comfort of staying safe. Happy Friday. I'll talk to you next week.